Hello, sports fans. We are ready for NFL Picks week number 7 in the league where they play for pay. And let's get right to it. I had another tremendous week last week. 8-3-1 straight up picking. 5-2 in my teasers. 2-2 in the over and unders. That got me to 67, 47, and 1. That is my total for the NFL this year. That is straight up picking against the spread. That is teasers, and that is over and unders. I told you guys last week to play 5 teams in teasers. New England, Buffalo, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, and Arizona. 4 of those teams came through for me. Pittsburgh did not. As a matter of fact, I had 7 total losses last week. 3 of them with the Steelers. I lost 2 teasers with the Steelers and 1 straight up bet with the Steelers. But other than that, I had a tremendous week last week. 8-3-1 against the spread. 5-2 in my teasers. I had New England and the over in one teaser. New England and Buffalo in another teaser. Buffalo and Tennessee in a teaser. New England and Tennessee I had Buffalo and Arizona. Like I said, I lost the 2 games with Pittsburgh. But anyway, let's get to week number 7 in the NFL. Dallas and Carolina have bye weeks. How impressive has Dallas been? Goes into Green Bay and manhandles the Packers. Dallas is doing a great job. Prescott looks like a very good quarterback. Dallas had a tremendous draft last year. They got a quarterback and a running back for the future. Dallas looks like a really good team right now. Carolina, they can't get out of their own way. They lose again to New Orleans. They just can't stop anyone. Their defense is a shell of what they used to be. They miss Norman. They're not good on any level of the defense. Carolina was 15-1 last year. They are 1-5 this year. Hard to believe. All right, let's get to the Thursday game. Let's go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field with the Green Bay Packers a -9 against the Chicago Bears. Green Bay 3-2 off the loss to Dallas. Green Bay has not been playing great this year. They've been spotty. I think they're still a good team. I think they're still a playoff team. They've been a little spotty so far this year. Chicago is an absolutely awful team. They're 1-5. They lost to Jacksonville at home last week despite having a double-digit lead. And all last week, all I heard from the Bear fans was they were going to win this game. I mean, the Bears just again fall flat on their face. They are an awful team. Please get rid of Cutler, get rid of the coach, draft a young quarterback, and start this mess over from scratch. I cannot believe how bad Chicago is. As far as this game, listen, you have to go with Green Bay at home here. This is a game I'm going to probably tease down. The spread is 9. I'm going to move that down to 3 and play it with another team or with one of my over and unders. You have to like Green Bay, though. A short week at home, coming off a loss, and the Bears are awful. I mean, how could you possibly take Chicago here? You want to move the line. That's where I'm probably going to go. Green Bay is pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go to London. And I'm going to pass on this game. This is another one of these London games. The New York Giants are -3.5 against the LA Rams. Both teams 3-3. Rams lost to Detroit in a tough game last week. Giants rallied to beat Baltimore as Beckham has the big play at the end of the game. Giants held on despite another game where they had 1,000,000 penalties. I'm going to pass on this game. I don't know what's going on with these London games. I don't know what to expect. Who's going to show up for these games? It's a tough travel. They play, in the morning, over there. So it's like, this is a very, very tough game to pick. I am going to stay away from this game. And when I said they play in the morning, it's actually the morning here. It's in the afternoon there. But the time is all messed up. The travel is tough. I don't know what I'm going to get from either one of these teams to begin with. So I'm going to pass on that game. Let's skip over that game. Let's go to pick number 3. Let's go to Philadelphia. Tremendous game here. The Minnesota Vikings are -2 at the Philadelphia Eagles. Minnesota undefeated this year. They're coming off a bye. Their defense is awesome. I really like the way Minnesota plays. Philadelphia 3-2. They lost a tough game to Washington. They've stepped back a little bit the last 2 games. You had to expect that. They're playing a rookie quarterback. They're playing a decent Washington team on the road. I had Washington last week. A lot of people like Philadelphia. I went to the cashier's window with Washington. This is a very tough game. I'm going to go with Minnesota's defense here rather than Philadelphia's rookie quarterback. The rookie quarterback struggled a little bit last week, Wentz. Philadelphia scored on a kick return and an interception return. Their offense didn't get much done. Now you're going against one of the best defenses in the league. I know the game's in Philadelphia. Never easy to play there. It's a very tough game. If you like the Eagles, I couldn't argue with you. But I'm going to go with Minnesota. They're coming off a bye. Their defense is very good, and they can do no wrong right now. Eagles the last 2 weeks have taken a step back. I'm going to take Minnesota there. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Some of the best fans in all of the NFL. Where the Kansas City Chiefs are minus 6.5 against the New Orleans Saints. Kansas City up to 3-2. Laid it on Oakland, in Oakland last week. Kansas City fell behind early in this game, 7-0, and then they just laid it on Oakland. I think they outscored them 26-3 the rest of the way. Nice comeback win by Kansas City there. You know, they bounced back from a couple bad performances, especially that one against the Steelers where they got trounced on the road. New Orleans 2-3. They did hang on and beat Carolina despite blowing a big lead. Listen, New Orleans, they could score, but they give up 1,000,000 points. And I don't take teams that don't play any defense on the road. Bad defenses don't travel well. Chiefs coming off a big win. They're back home. The Saints give up 1,000,000 points. I mean, like one of my loyal listeners said, you want to always take the Saints over with your over and unders. I'm going to go Kansas City there, minus 6.5 against New Orleans. That might be another game you might want to move the line down to even, play it in combination. But I like the Chiefs at home there. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to Detroit. This is a very interesting game where the Detroit Lions are minus 1.5 against the Washington Redskins. Detroit up to 3-3. They beat the Rams. I mean, I'm still not a believer in Detroit, but there they are at 3-3. That's a decent record. Washington, how about them? 4-2. Beat Philly. They've won 4 in a row, and they look really, really good right now, Washington. Very, very tough game. I know I'm going to get the people up in the Motor City angry with me. I expect a lot of messages from Lion fans this week. I still don't trust them. And I like what I see from Washington. They won the division last year. They've won 4 in a row. I'm going to take Washington on the road here, plus 1.5 in a very intriguing game. I'm going to go with Washington though, but that is a very, very tough game. I mean, if you like Detroit, I mean, how could I argue with you? They are home, but I got to go with Washington here. I just don't trust Detroit right now. As far as pick number 6, let's go to Cincinnati, the jungle in Cincinnati, where the Cincinnati Bengals are minus 9.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Cincinnati is 2-4, got bombed in the second half by New England. What is going on with Cincinnati? I know they've had a tough schedule, but they should be better than this. 2-4. People thought they'd be a Super Bowl contender this year. 2-4 is unacceptable. This is terrible play by the Bengals. They played a decent half last week against New England, then they got blown out in the second half. Cleveland, listen, they're still winless. We know they can't catch a break. What was the Cleveland coach doing last week? Cleveland scores at Tennessee last week to go down 28-19. You figure they're going to kick the extra point, right, with 2 minutes to go to make it 28-20. No, they go for 2 points there. They miss it. Stays on 28-19. Sure enough, Cleveland gets the ball back and scores at the end of the game to make it 28-26, but because they already missed a 2-pointer, they can't tie the game. They can't go for a 2-pointer there to tie the game. What was the Cleveland coach doing there going for 2 at that spot? At 2 minutes to go, when you score to make it 28-19, kick the extra point and make it 28-20. You want to keep the game alive. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket there. It's amazing to me. The 2-point conversion has been around for how many years, and the coaches still mess it up. The coaches tell me they live at the office. They spend, all day watching film and analyzing and preparing. And a simple thing like this, they can still mess up. 28-19, 2 minutes to go. Kick the extra point, make it 28-20. Keep your team alive. Keep the game alive. You missed a 2-pointer there, so the game is basically over right there. Sure enough, you get the ball back and score, but because you already missed a 2-point conversion, you can't tie the game. Terrible, terrible coaching by the Cleveland coach. Cleveland comes up short again. What else is new? As far as this game, by the way, what a high spread. 9.5 considering the Bengals are 2-4. But again, can you trust Cleveland? They always find a way to lose. This is a game I'm going to have to move the line. I'm going to move this down to 3.5. I'm going to hope that Cincinnati at home shows some sort of pride and wins this game. If they go to 3-4, their season is still alive. If they go to 2-5, they're done. They have to win this game. Spread is high for a 2-4 team. I will move the line, but I gotta think Cincinnati is going to find a way to win, and Cleveland is going to find a way to lose. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go down to Miami, South Florida, with the Buffalo Bills, a -3 against the Miami Dolphins. Buffalo 4-2. They've won 4 straight. Nice job by Buffalo. They blew out the Niners last week. I had that game a couple of different ways. I had it in a couple of teasers, and I had it straight up. I loved Buffalo last week. Miami 2-4, beat Pittsburgh. Did a nice job beating Pittsburgh. That was the surprise of last week. Ran the ball right down the Steelers' throat. So the Dolphins, after not playing well at all in the first 5 games, that was the shocker of the week. Having said that, do I think the Dolphins can now win 2 in a row? No. I'm going to go back on Buffalo. Buffalo's won 4 in a row. This is a team they can handle. I think Miami had their good win. I don't trust them to do it 2 weeks in a row. I know the game is in South Florida. I still got to like Buffalo. I'm going to take Buffalo -3. I think Buffalo makes it 5 in a row, so that is pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go down to Jacksonville. With the Jacksonville Jaguars, a -2 against the Oakland Raiders. Jacksonville wins, comes back and beat Chicago last week to go to 2-3. Oakland loses to Kansas City. They are down to 4-2. I tell you, I did not like what I see from Oakland last week. Oakland, after scoring the first touchdown, they got blown off the field at home last week. I thought that game would be a lot closer. I mean, I could see the game going either way. A lot of people liked the Chiefs last week. I could have been talked into the Chiefs. I never thought it would be that one-sided. And Oakland, on their first possession, went right down the field and scored, made it 7-0. Then they got outscored 26-3 the rest of the way on their home field. Listen, I think Oakland is doing some really nice things. I think they're a definite playoff contender, but their defense has to get better. Their defense is not championship material right now. As far as this game, I can't take Jacksonville. Every time I see Jacksonville as a favorite, I go, are you kidding me? I mean, I know they're 2-3. I know they came back and beat Chicago, but I cannot trust Jacksonville. The Raiders have won a lot of big road games this year. I think they can handle Jacksonville. I'm going back on Oakland to win down in Jacksonville. Oakland is pick number 8 +2 at Jacksonville. Pick number 9, let's go to Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee, with the Tennessee Titans on -2.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Tennessee is 3-3. They hung on and beat Cleveland. I like the quarterback at Tennessee. I like the offensive line. They're doing some nice things. Indianapolis down to 2-4, and they just had an absolutely awful loss to Houston in overtime. They had a 14-point lead and let Houston and that terrible offense score twice late and then score in overtime. Just an atrocious loss by the Colts. That's a loss that could come back to haunt them. I mean, I don't think that division is any good. I mean, that division is up for grabs, but what an awful loss by Indianapolis in that game. I got to go with Tennessee here. I don't like the Colts on the road. I don't trust their defense. I like Tennessee's offensive line, and I like the quarterback. It's only 2.5. It's a tough game, but I'll go Tennessee there. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey. Not too far from here, with the New York Jets on -1 against the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens just played in the Meadowlands last week against the Giants. Now they come back to the Meadowlands to play the Jets. Ravens are 3-3, lost a tough game to the Giants. Ravens have lost a few games in a row now. Jets are 1-5, one of the disappointments of the league. Got bombed in Arizona last night. Now it looks like Fitzpatrick is hitting the bench and Geno Smith is getting in there. I don't like Fitzpatrick. I don't like Geno Smith. I don't think Petty from Baylor's the answer. I'm not sure about Hackenberg from Penn State, but let's see these guys. Let's see the young guys. I've seen enough of Fitzpatrick. I don't believe in Geno Smith. Let's see Petty and Hackenberg down the road. The Jets are an absolute disaster. They are painful to watch. And how are they favored against anybody? I know the Ravens have lost a few games in a row, but I got to go with Baltimore on their defense. The Jets can't score. They can't move the ball from here to there. I know the Ravens play decent defense despite giving up some big plays to the Giants. The Jets can't make any big plays like that right now. I got to go Baltimore here. I'll take Baltimore +1 in the Meadowlands. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11. Let's go to Atlanta, with the Atlanta Falcons on -6 against the San Diego Chargers. I'm sorry, 6.5 against the San Diego Chargers. Atlanta down to 4-2, had a heartbreaking loss to Seattle. They're down 17-3 in this game. They come rallying back. They fall short. I tell you, they got robbed, Atlanta, at the end. That was a definite pass interference call on Seattle late in that game. I don't know how the refs missed that. And I'm one of these guys that likes to let them play. I don't like all these flags, but that was a definite foul on Seattle, so Seattle escaped there. I was one of the few people last week that said Seattle was going to win, but Atlanta was going to cover. I had it, exactly right there. San Diego up to 2-4. Had a nice Thursday night win against Denver. Denver looked terrible in that game. Those Thursday night games, by the way, this year have been awfully played. I mean, there have been some awful games on Thursday night football this year. As far as this game, Atlanta home, -6.5 against the Chargers. You got to go with Atlanta here. I don't trust the Chargers. Do you? They give up too many points. Atlanta's offense is really good, and they're home. You want to move the line down and move it down to pick them? Go right ahead. I might do that as well. You have to like the Falcons at home. You can't trust San Diego. I know they beat Denver, but Denver played a horrific game, and San Diego even tried to give that game away, by the way. Got to go with Atlanta here. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12. Here's another throwout game. Not picking it. Not picking it. Tampa Bay off a bye, -2 at San Francisco. San Francisco 1-5. Got blown out by Buffalo and has lost 5 in a row. I'm not picking the game. I'm not doing it. On general principle, I'm not doing it. And by the way, have we seen enough of Chip Kelly in the NFL? Chip Kelly is not an NFL coach. And I argued with a lot of people when he came into the NFL. I argued with a lot of people at the beginning of this year. A lot of people told me the Niners were going to do well this year. That they were going to, get revenge on the rest of the league. That's not happening. The Niners are an awful football team. Chip Kelly is not a good coach. Chip Kelly maybe should go back to Oregon since they're struggling without him. He fits perfectly with them. He's not a good NFL coach. And by the way, have we seen enough of the 49er quarterbacks, including Kaepernick? They also need to draft a young quarterback, get rid of the coach, and start this mess over. I am not picking that game on general principle. Let's move on. Pick number 13. Let's go to Pittsburgh, where the New England Patriots are up to -8 against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Spread opened at 2. It's now 8 because Roethlisberger is out. New England 5-1 beats Cincinnati. How good is New England? How good is New England? And are they unbelievable? Tom Brady's pushing 40. Looks like he's 25. Belichick is an absolute genius what he does with this team. Year after year after year, this team is right there as far as one of the best teams in the league. Despite who they lose, they plug guys in. I don't care if you like New England or not. You got to respect them. And I'm not a New England fan. You have to respect what New England does. You have to. You know, like Tom Brady? Please, it's all jealousy. Tom Brady is a great quarterback. Belichick is a great coach. New England, you have to love what they're doing. To me, they look like the best team in the AFC without a doubt right now. Pittsburgh, down to 4-2, had an absolutely atrocious loss to Miami. Terrible job by Pittsburgh. Now listen, I know at 8-6 when they were winning, Roethlisberger got hurt. He went out, he came back in, he didn't play well. That's only part of the story. What about the Steeler defense? You know, when you're not doing it on offense, does that mean your defense has to get shredded by a bad Miami team and they gave up 1,000,000 yards rushing? How about the defense steps up on and wins the game? I notice when the Steeler offense doesn't play well, the Steeler defense doesn't play well. Steelers had an absolutely atrocious loss in this game. I'll tell you, that is a bad loss for Pittsburgh. And in the end, it's going to come back to bite them because they're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs and have to go maybe to Denver like they did last year or to New England, and they're not going to be good enough to win those road games. The Steelers, the last 2 times they were on the road, got blown out by the Eagles and embarrassed by the Dolphins. That is not a good sign for the Steelers. As far as this game, listen, you can't like Pittsburgh without Big Ben. Landry Jones is the quarterback. Does anyone think the Steelers can win this game? No. You want to say the spread's too high at 8? Okay. You want to move it down to 2 in a teaser? Absolutely. That's what I'm going to do. You have to like New England to win this game. How could you possibly like the Steelers with Landry Jones as quarterback against New England, who looks awesome right now? I like New England there. It's pick number 13. Pick number 14. Let's go to the desert in Arizona for the Sunday night game. This is a very nice game where the Arizona Cardinals are -2 against the Seattle Seahawks. Arizona 3-3, beat the Jets last night, just laid it on the Jets. The Jets are a dead carcass. Seattle doing a nice job. They're 4-1, hung on and beat Atlanta. I thought they caught a break. I thought that was a penalty at the end, but Seattle doing a nice job. They struggled early As far as this season, Seattle has really found their offense the last few weeks. Seattle is definitely a contender in the NFC. We know their defense is always going to be there. It's a very interesting game. This is a game I'm going to take Seattle and move the points up. I'm going to take Seattle +8. I'm going to move it, in a two-team teaser and move it up. I'll take Seattle with 8 and play them with another team. Very interesting game, though. Must-watch game on Sunday night. One of the better games of the week. I'm going to take Seattle there. I'm going to move that line to 8. And the final pick, the Monday night game, pick number 15. Let's go to Denver, with the Denver Broncos are -6.5 against the Houston Texans. Denver down to 4-2. Lost to San Diego, looked dreadful in that game. I mean, they looked like they were sleepwalking, a million penalties. Terrible job by Denver. Houston 4-2, had the big comeback against Indianapolis. We're down 14 points late. I was all over Osweiler. I was saying, this guy is not any good. Give him credit. He led the comeback. I still don't think he's great, but give Houston credit for rallying to win that game. I think Denver is a great pick this week. They're coming off a couple losses. They had a long time to prepare now. Remember, they played Thursday night. Now they have the Monday night game. They're coming home. Houston is tailor-made for Denver, and Houston will not rally from 14 points down against this Denver defense. This Denver defense will swallow up this mediocre Houston offense. Denver off 2 losses. I love Denver straight up and in teasers. Any way you want to play them. Denver is going to roll in this game, and they may pitch a shutout. I think Houston is tailor-made for Denver. Denver's defense will swarm all over Osweiler. You know Denver doesn't want Osweiler to come back and play well. You know Denver is going to win this game. Denver for sure wins this game. My best bet of the week. I'm going to play it in teasers, combos, straight up. Denver -6.5 against Houston in the Monday night game in Denver. So those are your NFL picks for week number 7. Let's see if I can continue rolling. I've had 2 tremendous weeks in a row. It's funny, no matter how good I do, people are always complaining. Unless I get every game right, people are on you. I can't go 16-0 every week. I can't go 16-0 every week against the spread. And I got guys, every Monday telling me, oh, I went 15-1 against the spread. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It's easy to say that after the fact. Give me your picks beforehand, and then we'll add them up. I mean, I cannot stand that. I mean, so many times on Monday, I get people telling me, oh, I was 16-0 against the spread. I was 15-1. I mean, come on. You talk about a hollow message. No, you weren't. Give me your picks before, and then we'll add them up. And people get on me all the time when I pick against their team. Someone's got to lose. I can't pick your team every week. I can't pick your team to cover the spread every single week. And you know what's funny? When these people get on me and I pick the game right and they get it wrong, I never hear from them. I mean, so many people a couple weeks ago told me Houston was going to bomb Minnesota. I said, no way, Minnesota's going to win that game. Never heard from those people. But anyway, I get a lot of great messages and a lot of great support. But some people, you just can never satisfy them. No matter how many games you get right, they want you to get them all right. Anyway, let's go on to college football, week number 8. Do you believe we're in week 8 of the college football season? Are you kidding me? We have about another month or so, and we're done with the regular season in college football. That's how fast it goes. Very good week for me in college football. 4-2-1. I'm up to 26-16-4 in college football, so I'm starting to put together nice records in the NFL and college football. All right, let's get to the picks this week. I have 5 picks for you in college football. Pick number 1. Let's go to Morgantown, West Virginia, where the West Virginia Mountaineers are -4 against the TCU Horned Frogs. West Virginia 5-0, doing a really nice job this year. Bombed Texas Tech on the road, and Texas Tech can score, and West Virginia shut them down. TCU is 4-2, but the last time they went on the road, they barely beat a bad Kansas team 24-23. West Virginia is a very hard place to play. The fans are great. It's a tough place to get to. It's an intimidating place. I think West Virginia is a very good team this year. They could be one of the better teams in the Big 12, along with Baylor. I like West Virginia here. I like West Virginia to roll. I think they'll score some points. It's a very tough place to play. West Virginia -4 against TCU. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go to Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, one of the nicest campuses in all of the USA, where the North Carolina Tar Heels are -10 against the Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia 2-4, not a good team, lost to Pitt last week by 14 at home. North Carolina doing a nice job this year, 5-2. They beat Miami last week. First time in school history they beat Miami and Florida State. I like North Carolina to roll here. I think they're just better than Virginia, and I think they're going to score a lot of points. If Pitt beat Virginia by 14. I think North Carolina can do it. I like North Carolina -9 at Virginia. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go up to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the Michigan Wolverines are -34 against the Illinois Fighting Illini. Michigan 6-0 off a bye week. Michigan looks like one of the best teams in all the land. To me, the 2 best teams I've seen all year have been Alabama and Michigan. Ohio State's good. Washington's good. There's a few other teams that are good. We'll see about Texas A&M this week. But Michigan looks like one of the best teams in all the land this year. Michigan -34 against Illinois. Illinois is 2-4. They lost to Purdue, and their quarterback is questionable. They lost to Purdue, and their quarterback is questionable. They're going on the road to Michigan. Michigan coming off a bye and beat Rutgers the week before 76-0. Where do you think I'm heading in this game? I like Michigan to roll. They may shut out Illinois. Michigan picks their score in this game. Say it's 56-7. Michigan in a big way over Illinois in the big house. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the LSU Tigers are -4 against the Ole Miss Rebels. LSU 4-2, beat Southern Miss last week. I told you a couple weeks ago I'm going to start riding LSU after the coaching change. They changed the offense, despite Fournette being questionable for this game. They're doing some more things on offense. They look like they're rejuvenated. I think LSU is going to have a good close to the season. I've been betting them the last few weeks. I've been winning the last few weeks. Mississippi 3-3, lost to Arkansas. Mississippi's been kind of a disappointment. 3-3 is a disappointment to me for Mississippi. They give up a lot of points, and LSU at night is an impossible place to play. LSU -4 over Ole Miss is pick number 4. I just like LSU at home, at night, against a team they can score against. New coach for LSU. They got some new enthusiasm. I'm going to keep riding LSU. I've won with them 2 weeks in a row. Let's go for 3 in a row. LSU is pick number 4. And the final pick number 5. Let's go to Seattle, Washington, where the Washington Huskies are -32 against the Oregon State Beavers. Washington 6-0 off a bye. Remember, they bombed Oregon in Oregon a couple weeks ago. Washington is doing a great job. I keep saying it. I've said it for a million years. If you haven't been to Washington's campus, get out there. The stadium is awesome. The water in the back, the mountains in the back, the fans are great. The stadium is great. The campus is great. Put it on your bucket list. Get out to Washington. It's a great campus. Washington -32 against Oregon State at home. Oregon State is 2-4. Quarterback is questionable, and they lost at Cal 47-6. Kind of like Michigan. Where do you think I'm going here? Got to go with Washington again. Washington just trounced Oregon like 100-10. I think they can pick their score against Oregon State. Washington rolls. They go to 7-0. Washington is pick number 5. Those are your 5 picks in college football. Couple of games I didn't pick to keep an eye on. Ohio State at Penn State. Ohio State coming off the big come-from-behind win at Wisconsin last week. Now they go to Penn State. I think Ohio State is better than Penn State, but Penn State is never an easy place to play. And then the big game of the week, this is where College Game Day is. Alabama at home, undefeated against Texas A&M, who's also undefeated. You're going to find out a lot about Texas A&M this week. How awesome has Alabama been? Alabama is not just beating teams. They are pummeling teams into the ground, even on the road. Alabama looks like an unbelievable team this year. They are just destroying teams, and they're doing it on the road, too. They're covering big spreads. Alabama, awesome, but Alabama, Texas A&M is the game of the week. And like I said, you can't please everyone with these picks. No matter how many games I get right, and people all want to jump on you when you get a game wrong, believe me. And I'll tell you, go around and look at some of the other people picking games. Some of the people don't pick games with the spreads and still do bad. Look at Lee Corso. Look at Lee Corso, who does the picks for the college football. He puts the headgear on. How many games does he get wrong all the time? He gets most of the games wrong, and he's picking without a spread. So, I can't get every game right. I'm going to get games wrong. But I notice with people, when you get games wrong, they want to pound you. When you get games right, very few of them say you got it right. And then they expect you to pick their team each and every week. It's just, I have to go against your team sometimes. Your team is not going to win every week. They're not going to cover the spread every week. And I'm not going to go undefeated every week picking 30-plus games. But anyway, those are your picks for NFL and college football. You got your baseball going on. Indians have a commanding lead over Toronto, 3-0. Dodgers, Cubs, 1-1. Back to LA we go tonight. We'll see about the Cubs. I like to see how the Cubs play with a little pressure on them. The Cubs have all sorts of pressure on them. If they start to fall behind in these series, How are they going to respond? That would be very interesting. Cubs are not hitting right now. Keep an eye on that. I do think they will have enough to beat the Dodgers, though. Their pitching is a little deeper than the Dodgers, but Cubs have an awful lot of pressure on them. There you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. You have your picks for NFL week number 7. You have your picks for college football week number 8. I'm coming off 2 tremendous weeks in the NFL. I'm coming off a big week in college football. You guys, thanks for all the messages and the support and the great comments in the comments section. You guys stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care.